Yo, what up, people? This is Professor IC, your host of Theistic Wave Internet Radio, and this bit is known as Post Depression Ghosts, How I Found Faith in Love, God, and Humanity. While life essentially is illusionary, there are certain truths to life. These truths, for time and again, have acted as measures of ensuring that we do not give in to the illusions of life. German philosopher Immanuel Kant, one of the most famous philosophers of Enlightenment, in his book Critique of Pure Reason, argued that the world is divided into two parts. That is, there are two different yet connected worlds, phenomenal and noumenal. Now, while my understanding of Kant might be completely wrong, however, to explain life, I would still try to use the Kantian methodology. Noumenal is the world that is, the world that is free from perceptions or rather reason. The noumenal is the outside world, the world without, where things are as they are. And the phenomenal world, however, is the world that resides in our mind, that is, the world that is shaped by our perceptions or the world within. Our senses and perceptions are fallible. One might see more colors of red than the next person, or one might hear more sounds on the spectrum. Now, Kant argues that the noumenal world is the world that helps us to shape our perception and consequently shape the phenomenal world. When a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? This is a question I've often asked people. A majority of them would say yes, it does. In response, I asked them, how would you know? They would say, if we attach a microphone to record the sound it produces, we would know. I further would reiterate, no one is there to hear it, which also means no recording devices would be present. They mostly end the discussion by saying, I don't know then. Well, the answer lies between yes and no. Yes, if you're talking in the frame of the phenomenal world. No, if you're talking in the frame of the noumenal world. Any more discussions on this would lead to even more tangents from the actual topic. Now, if I'm allowed to extrapolate this idea of two worlds into life, I can say that life, the life that we live, that is, falls under the phenomenal world. Most of the facts that we assume to be true are in reality mere projections of the actual truth, the truth that lies on the noumenal world, on our phenomenal world within. However, I say most of the truths because there are certain absolute truths that actually act as cracks in the phenomenal world that allows us to have a glimpse into the noumenal world. The primary truth to life is death. But prior to death, there are two more truths that precede death. Namely, we grow old and fall ill. There is yet another major truth to life besides death, suffering. Often people keep themselves distracted from these absolute truths by indulging in the illusions life provides. Buddhism talks about nibbana or nirvana, that is, the complete liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Nirvana is like the final blow to the phenomenal world that shatters the phenomenal world and lays bare the noumenal world in front of us. We are all pools of energy. Our bodies are made from stardust, and to dust we shall return after we die. But before we deliver that final blow, the multiple blows that we impose on the phenomenal world leads to suffering. While suffering is necessary and is an integral part of life, it's how we deal with suffering is what makes the difference. One who embraces suffering and embraces the fact that suffering is the path towards true enlightenment that gives us the strength to deliver the blows on the barrier between phenomenal and noumenal worlds even harder. In the Ashtamarga or the Noble Eightfold Path, Buddha says the following: the search for a spiritual path is born out of suffering. It does not start with lights and ecstasy, but with the hard tracks of pain, disappointment, and confusion. However, for suffering to give birth to a genuine spiritual search, it must amount to more than something passively received without. It has to trigger an inner realization, a perception which pierces through the facile complacency of our usual encounter with the world to glimpse the insecurity perpetually gaping underfoot. When this insight dawns, even if only momentarily, it can precipitate a profound personal crisis. It overturns accustomed goals and values, mocks our routine preoccupations, leaves old enjoyments stubbornly unsatisfying.